Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Well, mostly sunny and cloudless. Good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Not all that bad of a day. Certainly a fall morning overnight with plenty of moon out there, a few stars, and temperatures right around that 40-degree mark, give or take a degree or two. As a matter of fact, we did have a few reporting stations, especially over in the Thumb area, looking at 34, 35, 36 degrees. You get up into northern Michigan, it's a whole lot cooler. Matter of fact, a couple of hours ago, Cadillac was still at 33 degrees. We did have some upper 20s in the northwestern part of the lower peninsula. We also had some upper 20s, low 30s along that I-75 corridor as we move down through northern Michigan and over in the Alma area. Some folks reporting temperatures pretty close to 34, 35 degrees as well. Not a lot of frost around in the Great Lakes Bay region. It looks as though the temperatures, the soil temperatures continue to be right up there. So it's going to take some freezing temperatures before we really begin to see a whole lot of activity as far as little white on the lawns. For right now, we're not going to see any white on the lawns for a while, thank goodness, because that can only mean two things, either frost or snow. And at this stage of the game, we're going to be looking at 65 degrees for a high today with mostly sunny skies, 45 for a low tonight with clear skies. So once again, if you did have a temperature 40 degrees or a little bit cooler than that, the chances are real good you're going to get it once again, because we're not going to be looking at much wind speed at all tonight. Currently, we are at 54 with a west-northwest breeze. You can just barely feel it. 72% is our humidity, 30.13 and steady is the barometric pressure. Downtown Midland is looking at 52. Downtown Bay City is currently at 54. And here at Radio Center, we are looking at 54 degrees as well. We owe it all to a high-pressure system over the Ohio Valley and dipping down a little bit into western Kentucky. That eye is going to be moving right straight east over the next 24 hours. And it'll usher in the ability for a low-pressure system, which right now is over southwestern sections of South Dakota into northern Nebraska. That low is going to try to work its way toward the Great Lakes. It does appear right now as though it's going to take a little bit more of a northeasterly trajectory. And as a result, we're going to be under the influence of, first of all, the warm front of it. So as we said, 65 for a high today, 72 for a high tomorrow, 71 for a high on Wednesday. Plenty of sun tomorrow. The high-pressure system generating all of this is going to be over West Virginia. So that in combination with the counterclockwise moves of the low, that's what's going to push that warmer air up toward us. And right now, pretty dry air. As we go into Wednesday night, the low-pressure system will get close enough to us so that we very possibly could see a little bit of precipitation as it moves across the state and heads from more or less Iowa to Toronto. It'll be over the Toronto area during the day on Thursday. And as a result, we'll have that increase in the clouds later in the day on Wednesday. Wednesday night, there is going to be a chance of some shower activity, but that low is going to be a very quick moving low. So we're not anticipating very much moisture out of it at all as it moves across the lower peninsula and drags a cooler front behind it. During the day on Thursday, with the clouds and some showers around, but again, they are going to be scattered. We're looking for a high temperature of 62 with a low temperature of about 45, 46 degrees on Thursday night. Then with plenty of clouds becoming sun as we go into the day on Friday, we're going to be looking at a high temperature very similar to what we had last Friday. about 56, 57, 58 degrees, again with clouds, but it doesn't appear as though there's going to be any chance of precipitation, widely scattered or spotty or drizzle. It looks like all that is going to be moving out during the day on Thursday. So Friday, mostly cloudy. Then moving into the weekend, we're anticipating right now temperatures averaging below average for this time of the year, but we're not anticipating much of anything in the way of moisture for the upcoming weekend. Long range outlook to take us all the way through the end of the months. We're going to continue with the above temperature trend and average, maybe slightly below average on the moisture. Normal high for this time of the year is 59. The normal low is 41. Record high in this date is 83, and that was set way back in 1908. The record low set in 1948 was 20. And a year ago today, 55 was our high, 37 was our low. We picked up a quarter of an inch of rain. Sun will set this evening at 6:48, rise tomorrow morning at 7:56. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. We'll touch base with Cody Harris over at Star of the West in a moment. Looks like the markets are trending just a little bit to the positive side. Cody will have all the details for us. But first, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Hilleshog. Hey, when you plant Hilleshog seed, Mr. Sugar Beet Farmer, your investment is backed by a worldwide research and breeding team whose sole focus is your success. Make your farm generation strong with high sugar varieties that are armed whatever you need as a farmer here in Michigan. Profit robbing pressures, they'll take care of it. Climatic conditions, just contact your Hilleshog agent today and find out what he can do for you. We say good morning to Cody Harris. Cody, you had a nice weekend, did you?
Oh, yes. Weather was nice, starting to get some nice, cool fall weather. It's football season, so this was definitely enjoyable to have.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to get the hoodie out and maybe even some of the guys or the ladies that get chilly hands, they can put some gloves on. It's football season. It's fall in Michigan.
Exactly.
And hopefully we'll get rid of these bugs sometime soon.
Fingers crossed on that aspect, because they've been brutal the last couple of weeks. I know that.
Boy, they sure have. Speaking of brutal, the markets have been nothing but brutal lately. What's going on today?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a breather here today, Terry. We got corn, soybeans are in the green. Wheat's kind of hanging along right there, maybe down a little bit here. But looking at everything, the way it sits right now, we got cash wheat right now. That's, let's call it down one. 698 on the white, 663 on the red. Looking at new crop next year wheat, that's unchanged right now. 733 on the white, 673 on the red. Looking over at cash corn, that's up 2 at 478. New crop corn is also up 2 at 478. Looking over at soybeans, cash soybeans are up 4 at 1162. And new crop soybeans are also up 4 at 1162.
So what's making the markets do what they're doing here right now, Cody?
Well, this time of year, like I said, we talked about the weather here to start this off. That's kind of what everyone's watching. Weather and demand is definitely driving the markets early in the week here, Terry. I guess looking at corn, we had a very active harvest this weekend, and the weather ahead really looks clear for advancing this harvest. I talked to a couple analysts this morning. Expectations, our corn harvest could be close to about 55% done. on today's USDA crop progress report. That's what kind of some analysts are looking at. Some even think more or higher than that. Then on the demand side, that's kind of what's really driving the market. U.S. corn right now is well positioned to garner some export business. The Gulf corn is reported to be about $25 a metric ton discount to Ukraine corn. And then there's a much wider discount to Black Sea feed wheat. So that's definitely bullish news for corn as we look at the demand side. Also, we're looking at, export sales. Last week, we did 41 million bushels. That's up 4% a year ago. And also, U.S. ethanol production continues to move higher. Last week's production of about 1.03 million barrels a day was the highest in 15 weeks. So we got a little demand kind of driving this market here right now. And kind of the same thing over at soybeans. Some analysts feel soybean harvest could be about 70% complete. And then even looking down in South America, kind of looking at their progress down there, the big region of Mato Grosso, they're about 45% done planting. That's way above the 5-year average 25% and last year's 8% planting pace. So that's something to keep an eye on. But demand is definitely driving that market. We're looking for kind of some additional Chinese soy purchases. U.S. right now is the cheapest source for soybeans, and last week's 42 million bushel of sales was well above the weekly average needed to reach our about 2 billion bushels that the USDA predicted. So that's really driving that market. And for right now, I believe wheat's just trying to hang in there. So they're kind of following where corn and soybeans going, because that's where all the news is right now. But one thing just to keep in mind that the wheat stocks, they continue to get tighter. Majority of the wheat exporter stocks are at multi-year lows. In the U.S., ending stocks are reported to be about the lowest in 13 years. So that's just something to keep in mind as we move forward. But that's what's playing around the market here this morning, Terry.
Cody Harris over at Star of the West. Thank you very much. You have yourself a great day, okay?
You too, Terry. Thank you.
Will do. Market report brought to you today by the folks at Schaefer and Beerline. Ram ag season going on right now at Schaefer and Beerline. So pick up one from a dealer that's been around since 1852. They know trucks and vans, so you can buy with confidence from a dealer where family and service sells cars. They are the Great Lakes Bay Area certified ag dealer. That is Schaefer and Beerline. And by the folks at Crazy Jack's House Family Restaurant. If you're responsible for a meal coming up for an event and you need to supply the food, hey, here's the number, 989-894-5531. They'll have it ready for you. You pick it up, take it to your event, and as we've said before, you will be a hero at that event. And also, they're a great place to dine in, too. Kryzak's House, corner of Cass in Michigan, on Bay City's south side.
Where has the Pioneer Audio Tour taken me today? Olivia, Minnesota, next to a field planted with Pioneer brand Enlist E3 soybeans. This field looks peaceful, but like every field, there's a constant battle going on against weeds. Right now, the farmer of this operation is making a pass with what looks like a 120-foot sprayer boom. Enlist E3 soybeans offer the most advanced trait technology on the market. And while it's new to most farmers, it's not new to Pioneer. Pioneer experts and agronomists have already completed hundreds of on-farm trials, all so that acres like this have healthy soybeans with great yield potential. Enlist E3 soybeans on a farm in Olivia. Another thing that makes Pioneer, Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
Hi, Deb. Another weekend, more youth baseball. Where's Jerry?
He wanted to come, but he's busy battling brown beet fields.
Cercospora?
Yeah, he went out to spray again. Is your crew spraying?
Just a few times. It's a sea of green this year.
You're kidding.
No, we tried that new CR Plus trait developed by KWS, and it's like night and day.
Really? Wow. You should text Jerry. He needs a new plan.
Maybe I'll just send some pics from the game. He'll get the message. KWS CR Plus trait is licensed to Beta Seed and Crystal Brand Seed.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Michigan Corn. They want to remind you that the 8th Annual Great Lakes Crop Summit will be held this next year, I should say. But the upcoming couple of months give you the opportunity to register for that event and also check out some of the speakers that they have lined up as well. It'll be at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant, January 26th and 27th of next year. The deadline to reserve hotel rooms and receive early registration is a ways off, but if you're thinking about it, might be a really good idea to get that taken care of. Again, the 8th Annual Great Lakes Crop Summit, Wasn't held, obviously, last year, but they're looking forward to getting together again at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant. Along with me right now, Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting. And Eric, from what I understand, there is an opportunity right now to repay some IRA distributions from last year.
Yes, Terry. In 2020, there was a COVID relief bill passed that allowed you to take up to $100,000 out of an IRA, to get through those tough times. And it could have been for any reason that was impacting you for COVID, whether it was a reduction in wages or hours, or you had a small business that was impacted. But regardless, a number of people did take distributions out of an IRA that year. And essentially what happened is they either paid tax on that full amount for the 2020 tax return, or they were able to spread that out evenly over a 3-year period. So they picked up a third of the tax in 2020, a third of the tax will come in 2021, and the final third coming up next year. One thing I wanted to point out is that if that money becomes available up through the end of next year, even at any point in time, you can actually put a portion or all of that money back into your IRA account. And then we can go back and amend the 2020 tax return and get back the tax you've already paid on that distribution. You'd also avoid paying any tax these next 2 years that was coming up. So again, if that money's available, it's a way to be able to get money back into your retirement account and let it grow, and get some of that tax back that you had to pay originally. So it's kind of a unique situation you don't see very often. You could put in a lot more if it was a large distribution than you usually can in a year. So if those funds become available, it's a good thing to take a look at and see if it's possible for you to do.
Good advice. Eric Sawatsky, thank you very much. We really appreciate your input. You have a great day, okay?
You too.
Will do. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
Experience the most reliable RTK signal from PC Ag Solutions, compatible with most GPS receivers. Trade in your old radio or modem and get an affordable subscription through us. We have over 25 base station locations across the Lower Peninsula, and we're always looking to add more to our network. Discover more power, more accuracy, and more coverage with our 450 megahertz signal. Call us to learn more today. PC Ag Solutions, 989-868-4444. Along with me, our attorney, ag-based, Jerry Reif. Jerry, good morning. How are you? Or I should say, first of all, wrong Jerry Samalski. Hi, Jerry. How you?
I'm good. We got a couple Jerrys going on.
Yeah, there we go. What do you think? What should we be doing right now outside?
Terry, pretty soon you're going to start cleaning up your perennial beds and cutting them down. And sometimes people will go in with some larger weed whackers with cutters or whatever they do, or hedge trippers, and go through and cut everything down. Before you do that, I'd suggest going through and do some weeding and make sure you got all the weeds out. Because when you wholesale go through and you just clean up, you leave the weeds behind, cut them off, and then they're rooted, they're ready to go for next year. You don't want that. Clean them out now, so next spring you're ahead of the game. Because when they start coming up, they're bigger, they're rooted more, and they're harder to take care of. So before you clean up your perennials, weed your perennial beds. It'll be paying dividends forward. It'll be a much easier time next spring.
Good suggestion. Jerry, you take care. Talk to you again. All righty?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Now we go to Jerry Reif, our attorney at law, regarding some ag matters. Jerry Reif, from what I understand, we're going to be having a seminar coming up in November that you want to let the people know?
Yes. yes. By the way, Terry, I'm glad to know that you didn't get lost in the maze, the corn maze.
I've been in enough mazes in my life, I'll tell you.
And we all are because of the estate tax changes, some which are going to have to change, the capital gains. I mean, the government and others are continuously making life a maze. So we're doing we're continuing our webinars. Of course, we've been doing those all the way through the pandemic here, and now we're doing them live again in November 11th, and again in December 7th. So we can send you a flyer and do all the information. And we're going to talk about how to protect your stuff. It gets into asset planning, avoiding probate, avoiding nursing home issues perhaps, and litigation issues, that type of thing. And you know my motto, of course, is you want to have all your ducks in a row so you're not left like a sitting duck.
There you go.
Go to JerryRifeLawyer.com. We got a lot of information on the website, or you can call me at 989-790-1461. We want to, I have a short time, I can tell you, estate planning and elder law planning is a lot like the game of baseball. The worst thing you can do is stand at home plate with a bat on your shoulder and never swing. You got to get in the game. Well, you get to first base, you got a will, maybe a power of attorney, maybe a medical power of attorney, maybe the will that Lansing drafted for you.
Hey, there you go.
To get people down to second base, avoid probate, and if you're tired of taking chances about losing something to a creditor, including a nursing home and the government, you want to take a look at third base, and there's some opportunity there. We're offering free reviews of estate planning, elder law planning, succession law planning. We're offering that, and with or without going to the live workshop on November 11th. It's at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at Capulco Credit Union on Cabaret Trail. It's just down the road from Bay Road and McCarty. Basically, they're easy to find. So that's 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock on November 11th, or again in December, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, December 7th.
Very good. Jerry, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You have yourself a great day. All righty?
Healthy crops require healthy soil. Genuine earth metal blades, cultivator sweeps, coulters, and openers from New Holland help you manage residue, improve soil tilth, and place seeds into a consistent furrow. Available at Ellen's Equipment in McBain, Ithaca, and Beale City. Genuine New Holland earth metal parts are stronger, tougher, and built to last. For more information, visit Ellen's Equipment today.
We'll be back at 12:30 with an update. Lots of information for you there. But now we conclude our program with the news, which starts at 12 o'clock.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Colin Powell is being remembered as a soldier and a statesman. The nation's first Black Secretary of State and Joint Chiefs Chair has died from complications of COVID at the age of 84. Successor, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, has just spoken.
He told his staff that they didn't need to worry about getting fancy lunches. Hamburgers and hot dogs were just fine. When he hopped onto the elevator, he pulled others on with him. He didn't bother with formalities. And he wasn't overly concerned with hierarchy either. He wanted to hear from everyone.
CBS News military consultant, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland.
Americans will remember his time as a celebrated military officer, national security advisor, and Secretary of State. But those who worked with him or around him will recall his wit, generosity, leadership, and integrity.
His family says Powell was fully vaccinated, but his immune system was compromised from treatment for multiple myeloma. Jury selection is getting underway in the trial of the men accused of murdering a black jogger in Brunswick, Georgia.
1,000 mailed jury summons works out to about 1 out of every 85 Glenn County residents in the potential jury pool for Ahmaud Arbery's 3 accused murderers.
I've never had a case with that many jurors called to serve.
Jason Sheffield is a lawyer for shooter Travis McMichael.
I'm in the high 90 range that we will find 12 jurors and 3 or 4 alternates who we all feel will give us a chance to tell them our truth. That's all we can ask.
Sheffield says they expect to question 40 jurors a day. Veronica Waters for CBS News, Atlanta.
17 U.S.-based missionaries, 5 children among them, are still being held hostage in Haiti. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez is in Port-au-Prince.
CBS News has confirmed that the FBI is now on the ground here in Haiti, working hand in hand with the State Department and senior Haitian authorities as they try to resolve this situation.
The group was in Haiti to visit an orphanage. Lawmakers in Washington are questioning testimony from top Amazon executives. CBS News tech reporter Dan Patterson.
Members of the House Judiciary Committee sent a letter to Amazon chief Andy Jassy accusing Amazon of copying products sold by third-party vendors on the site, then altering the search results to benefit Amazon products.
Add another A-lister to this month's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Baby, I'm amazed the way you love me all the time.
Paul McCartney will induct the Foo Fighters at the ceremony in Cleveland on the 30th. Taylor Swift inducts Carole King, Angela Bassett, Tina Turner. The Dow is up 3. This is CBS News.
This hour's newscast is presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you need cash out of your home and a simple way to get it, Rocket can. Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
44 degrees at 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Ann Williams. First, this traffic note to pass along. The intersection of Center and Weiss in Saginaw Township has reopened after a crash there